नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing from the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So the chapter is titled as Transcendental Knowledge or Jnana Vibhaga Yoga. So in the previous chapter, Krishna essentially spoke about Nishkama Karma Yoga. And in this chapter, he starts by telling that this uh, uh, this subject matter which I have discussed, or this Nishkama Karma Yoga, or instructions about Nishkama Karma Yoga which I have given you, these teachings are nothing new. The same thing that I taught to Vivaswan also. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Propanaham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Bravi. So he says that I spoke this knowledge to Vivaswan, Vivaswan spoke it to Manu, Manu it to Ikshvaku, like that. And then he says, Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Viduhu Sakale Neha Mahata Yonashta Parantapa. And then he says that the saintly kings received this knowledge through this parampara, but over a period of time, due to the influence of powerful time, the disciplic succession was broken. Sayevayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. But because you are my devoted friend, I am planning to renew this parampara through you. I am going to share that same, I decided to share that same secret with you because you are my friend and devotee, that reason. At this point of time, Arjuna asks, Aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah katam etad vijaniyam tvam adau proktavaniti. My dear Krishna, you and I, we all appeared much after Vivaswan, but you are telling me that you spoke this to Vivaswan, but so how is it possible? I have always stayed with you. I don't ever know when you spoke, and moreover, he was much before you. So, katam etad vijaniyam tvam adau proktavaniti. How am I to know that you spoke this to Vivaswan? I am not able to understand this. So, can you please explain? So, not that Arjuna did not know, but Arjuna asking this so that others really understand about Janma Rahasya and Karma Rahasya of Krishna. The confidential nature of Krishna's birth and activities can be understood by others. With that mood, Arjuna asked this question. And Krishna answers this question by telling, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam parantapa. So he says that, oh Arjuna, you and I have gone many, many births. I know all of these births, but you do not know. So here Krishna says that in this verse, the Lord explains that he instructs through his avatars. So it's not that Krishna as Krishna instructed Vivaswan. Krishna in one of his avatars, he instructed. But again, we saw that it is not inappropriate for Krishna to say that, both of us took birth because Krishna is the Amshi and all other avatars are Amsha. So for the Amshi to say the as myself is not inappropriate. So Krishna does that throughout Bhagavad Gita. We saw this last time. So Krishna's own avatar is being Krishna Samsa, therefore it is not inappropriate for Krishna to say, many, many births I took and you took. Uh, like that. So, and even Arjuna being a Nitya Siddha, he is capable of remembering all those births that he took with Krishna, but due to Krishna's Yogamaya, he covers. But for ordinary conditioned souls, the Mahamaya covers. So she does not allow the living entities to know anything about their past births. So that past birth memory is uh, taken away by Mahamaya. So and then this I said this is a very pivotal verse. Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swam adishta sambhavami atmamaya. So even though this whole chapter is about, this the pivotal part of this chapter is this part where Krishna talks about his Janma Rahasya and Karma Rahasya. And even in all of that, this verse is very, very pivotal verse. And last time I had requested if someone would be interested in, last time we saw this verse in detail, this purport in detail. I had requested devotees to volunteer if someone is willing to uh, recap this whole purport, because it's a landmark purport. Of course, I'm not asking you to recap everything and every class, but because this is a very foundational landmark commentary, that's why I had requested. And Sachipran Prabhu had very kindly agreed to uh, do this. So I'll request him. I'm making him the co-host. Prabhu, would you like to uh, share a screen, or you want me to move the screen? Whatever suits you, I'll do it accordingly.
Yeah, so somehow I was about to share the screen. Somehow my laptop is not working. So I will present in the format. Just keep me unmuted. So I will just like to just keep the screen, and I will tell you to move the screen if possible.
Okay. So you will
Yeah.
speak and I will move the screen, right?
Uh, Not necessary, project. If I require, then I will just tell you to move.
Okay. Okay. If you tell, then I will move.
So thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, project, for giving this opportunity. I don't got so much time, but I heard the class multiple times, so I got a lot of clarity.
Prabhu, we lost you. We are not able to hear you. Oh, I think he actually, I'm having some internet issues maybe.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Prabhu, your voice is breaking actually. Maybe you are not at a place where
Yeah,
your internet signal is good.
now I'm audible, Kushi?
Yeah, now this is much better.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, so thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I heard the class for multiple times, and I could, whatever I could understand, I can present to this forum. Uh, the point here, this verse, 4.6, is commented by many acharyas, and specifically, this is the Janma Rahasya, like how Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Devya Tasvataha. So the Tatvataha, to understand the principle, how Lord, although he takes many avatars, still he remain unborn. And that is very nicely explained in this verse and commented by many acharyas. The first line of the verse is Ajopi Swam Avyatatma. So in first line, Ajo means unborn. So the Lord is taking birth like he is Yashodanandan, or he is Aditi Sutta, is Varaha, many forms. Still he remains unborn. So how he remains unborn? Because his body never changes. Lord's body is a Shuddha Sattva, or is not perishable, like living entity's body is perishable body. So Lord descends in his own body, so there is no question of birth here, because there is no changes in the body. The same body is appearing. So there is no new birth is happening. If your body changes, then there is a question of birth. So here another important point is uh, Ayatma, because our body is Ayatma, is very perishable body, and Lord's body is completely transcendental body, Shuddha Sattva body, which is not perishable. I am audible, Prabhuji? Yeah. Haribol?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible. You are audible, Prabhu.
Haribol?
Yes, Prabhu, you are audible. I am able to hear you.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So another important differentiation between the living entity's body and the Lord's body is a living entity has no choice actually. He doesn't take birth as per his choice. He takes birth by a force of karma. And Lord the karma is not applicable on Lord's, because Lord takes the charge of time, and it controls everything. And so there is no question of punya, papa, or karma, or by force he has to take a birth. But the living entity has to take birth by force. So Lord is not under control of karma, but living entity is always under the control of karma. The Lord is without subtle body, and the jiva has a subtle body, and that's why he has to take birth by force, by his previous karmas. But at the same time, Lord Sarupa is Satchidananda, full of eternal spiritual knowledge and the bliss. At the same time, there is some similarity between the Lord Sarupa and Jiva as a soul. Soul is eternal, but the soul transmigrates from one body to another body. So he changes the body. That's why soul has to take birth by force, not by choice. So the soul, the living entity has to take birth by force. The Lord doesn't have to take birth by force. Lord appeared by his own choice. So यदा यदात्मा यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत. So the Lord, whenever there is a decline in the religion, Lord takes birth by his own will, by his own according choice. There is no force to the Lord to take the birth. So although then Bahunam Ishwaropi San, Bahunam Ishwaropi San is very important point here, that having a Lord of all living entities. So Lord is saying that I am the Lord of all living entities. So the laws are not applicable to me. It is applicable to the living entities. So I take birth uh, by my own sarupa, that is my own internal energy, not by the force of maya, that is external energy, which controls the jiva. So still, why Lord is unborn when the Lord is like uh, appear in various forms like Varaha, then Narsimha, still he remain unborn. This is very important to understand here. Why Lord is called unborn here? If it is unborn, then why we can't see the previous forms at a one time? Like Varaha form, Narsimha form, Lord Rama, all these forms we can see if it is eternal forms. So it is very nicely explained that why we can't see the all the forms together, because Lord wanted to cover uh, our knowledge or our cover through our Chitta Shakti, his own Chitta Shakti, that is Yoga Maya, and he covers the previous form and gives only that particular form darshan. Like example that is in Kurukshetra, where Arjuna is able to see in the 11th chapter the Vishwarupama, but others are not able to see. Sanjaya and Arjuna could see that form. So this is the inconceivable potency of the Lord, that is Chitta Shakti, which covers the Lord the previous forms, and only whatever he want to show, he only reveals that form. That's why, although he has a different forms, but we see only what he want to show it to us. That is his own internal potency. That's why the that's why the living entities uh, are able to see only the form which Lord wanted to reveal to the Jivatma. So, and the Samavami Atma Maya, that my own energy. So here, Prakriti has to understand that Lord Prakriti is described as Lord Sarupa. Prakriti is not described here as external energy, but Lord is appeared through his own energy, that is internal energy. Lord is part of the Yogamaya potency, like internal energy. Lord appeared through his own energy, and not by the external energy of force, like how Jivatma takes birth by his force. Uh, Again, there is a difference between Jivatma and the Lord is uh, Lord's uh, taking birth is just like descending from his soul. The birth is same like is not changing the body, so it is appearing in the same form, Sarupa, which is eternal always, and just but in living entities, it's not like that. The living entity has to change his body. Although like 84 lakh species, the living entity, travels, and Lord also take multiple forms. But there is a difference here is we don't choose the form, Lord choose the form. So by his own potency. And Samoabhi Atmamaya also explained by other acharyas like by his own knowledge, the Lord appear by his own knowledge. The living entity is not appear by his own knowledge. He is forced by the his own punya and papa or karma. There is no question of his own knowledge is appearing. And the Lord is a controller of time and all other material elements is controlled by the Lord, but living entity is forced by the time and other material elements. So this is the difference between the Lord's birth and the living entity's birth. And the Lord, our living entity's body is Jada Prakriti. The Lord's body is Shuddha Sattva, that is transcendental part. The living entity's part is a Jada, because living entity identifies the soul. Soul, although is equal unborn, and the Lord's body, soul is unborn, and the living, and then Lord is also unborn. In one is a constitutional state, they are in the same position. But because soul identifies with the body, that is because of that ignorance. But here the Lord identifies body is not ignorance. It is a transcendental absolute truth. But when soul identifies with the body, it is actually creating the bondage. That's where he has to migrate from one body to another body. Thank you, Proji. I could grasp this much only. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Wonderfully you summarized. It was wonderful. Really very nice. You almost had all the points that we had discussed in class. So I have absolutely no need to summarize. So you did a very, very wonderful job. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. So that was like this very pivotal verse. Pisan Avyayatma Bhutanam Ishwaropisan Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya Sambhavami Atmamaya. So this verse talks about the Janma Rahas of Krishna, the very unique nature of Krishna's appearance in this material world, how it is different from the appearance of the living entity. So in one sense, he is unborn and he does and he actually takes birth also. So both are true and both are in action with the Swarupa. It's not that one is, the Jiva is also born and unborn. You say that Jiva in his Swarupa is unborn, but when Jiva identifies with the body, then he takes birth. So, but for Krishna, it's not like that. So, Krishna's birth and no birth are both connected to his body. And then rest of the points very beautifully Sachiparan Prabhu recollected and recapped very nicely. So I think we will move on to the next verse. But before that, if there are any quick discussion points, questions, comments, anything anyone would share as add based on what we have discussed, we can take. Is there anything anyone would like to share as add? Okay. If there is nothing, then we will continue. So basically, Krishna is discussing about the transcendental nature of his birth, and very soon he will start discussing the transcendental nature of his activities also. So here in this 4.7th verse, he talks about when do I appear? Okay. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham. So Krishna says, yada yada, whenever dharmasya glanirбhavati, whenever there is a destruction of dharma, O Bharata, adharmasya abhyuttanam, or whenever there is a rise in dharma, tada, at that time, aham atmanam srijami, I manifest my own body. Like that Krishna says. So whenever there is a rise in adharma and a destruction of dharma, Krishna says, I appear. I manifest my own body. Srijami, even though the word Srijami, the most direct meaning of Srijami may mean I create, but we do understand that Krishna's form is Avyayatma, is imperishable body. So therefore, therefore you cannot explain Srijami as create, because if it is created, then it becomes material, because spirit cannot be created. Spirit is eternal. So if Krishna's body is eternal, then it cannot be created. So therefore, Srijami Aham cannot be described as I create. Rather, it means I manifest. I manifest my own body. And we had already discussed last time. Krishna Dyumani Nimloche Girneshu Ajagarenaha. So Krishna's appearance and disappearance is compared to the appearance and disappearance of the rising and setting of the sun. So even though sun may disappear from our vision, but the sun is not actually disappearing. It's not getting destroyed and created. Rather, it just appears and disappears from vision. That's all. So similarly, Krishna's form is eternal. It is not created like the bodies of ordinary living entities. So therefore, the word Srijami should be understood in that sense. So Srijami also means to manifest. So even though the most common meaning of Srijami may be to create, but in this context, it not mean create, it means manifest. So like that. So here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti says that when I appear, this verse answers. I appear when I cannot tolerate both the destruction of dharma and the increase of adharma in order to reverse the situation. So when I cannot tolerate the destruction of dharma and the increase of adharma, I appear in order to reverse the situation. I manifest my body, Atmanam. So Madhusudan Saraswati says, I show that body which exists eternally as if created by my energy. So therefore the word Srijami means I show or manifest that body which exists eternally, which is Abhyayatma. But the word Srijami here means it appears as if it is to an external, it appears as if it were created by my energy. but it's eternal. It is not created. That is the explanation. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions before we move ahead? Okay, if there is none, we will continue. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Yuge yuge, in every age, sambhavami, I appear. For what purpose? Paritranaya sadhunam, in order to protect the devotees, vinashaya cha dushkritam, and in order to destroy the deeds, and dharma samstapana arthaya, and in order to establish dharma. So three purposes of descent. Okay, so I appear to protect the devotees, to destroy the demons, and to establish dharma. So sambhavami yuge yuge, in every age. So someone may ask, because in the previous verse he said, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adasya tadatmanam sujamiham. I come when I cannot tolerate the destruction of dharma and increase of adharma, then I appear myself to rectify the situation. But someone may ask this question, but your devotees, the Rajarshis and the Brahma Rishis can rectify the destruction of dharma and increase of adharma. Then why is it necessary for you to make an appearance? Can't your devotees, the Rajarshis and the Brahmashis, can't they rectify the situation? Do you have to personally come to establish dharma, to rectify the decision of other dharma and increase of adharma? So why do you have to come personally? So Krishna says, yes, that is true. That is true. But I come and perform feats which are very difficult for others to do. That is expressed in this verse. He says that, yeah, that can be accomplished by my devotees, the Rajarshis and Brahmarshis. They can arrest and reverse the destruction of dharma and the increase of adharma. But there are certain things which even they cannot do, only I can do. They cannot do, only I can do. What is that? He says, I appear for delivering Tranaya, dedicated devotees, sadhunam. Okay. So I come delivering my devotees. So sadhu means devotees only. As uh, uh, the Lord tells Durvasa Muni in the eighth canto, Aham Bhakta Paradino Hyaswatantra Ivadvija Sadhubir Grasta Hridayo Bhaktair Bhakta Jana Priya. So he says that Aham Bhakta Paradino. So Krishna says that, oh my dear Durvasa, I am completely dependent on devotees. He Aswatantra Ivadvija. I am, for all practical purposes, I am like a totally dependent person. I am not independent. I am totally dependent on my devotee. And then Sadhubir Grasta Hridayo. I am completely captured within the heart of my sadhu. So sadhu here means devotee, because he uses the word bhakta and sadhu interchangeably here. So therefore, very clearly, sadhu, the word sadhu refers to devotees only, pure devotees. So I appear for delivering my dedicated devotees. Paritranaya sadhunam. But one question arises, but what kind of difficulties will your devotees undergo? You know, the devotees are not under the grips of karma. So why do you want to come to, you want to come to deliver your devotees from what? What suffering do they have? So Krishna says, I appear for delivering my dedicated devotees whose hearts are bursting with longing for me and who are suffering due to their devotion. Because they have devotion, they feel longing for Krishna, and because I am not physically present before them, therefore their heart is bursting with longing for me, and I appear to pacify that burning heart of my devotees. Okay, so this only I can do, my devotees cannot do. I have to appear for that. The Rajarshis, the Brahmarshis, they cannot do. So second, so this is Itranaya Sadhunam. So Krishna comes to deliver the devotees from their viraha that they feel towards the Supreme Lord. And then Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, for destroying the evil-minded persons like Ravana, Kamsa, and Keshi, who give suffering to my devotees and who cannot be killed by anyone except me. So they are such powerful demons that they cannot be killed by anyone else. Like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Shishupal, Dantavakra, they were directly Jaya and Vijay. So to kill such demons, it is not possible for any ordinary person to kill such demons. So in order to kill them, also Krishna comes. And for establishing a firm way the supreme dharma of meditating on me, worshipping, serving me, and singing about me, which cannot be instituted by anyone but me. Right? Dharma samstapanartaya. So that dharma samstapana which he comes to establish is actually me. So uh, uh, you know, that is why Yuga Avatara. So I do this in every year in the day of Brahma or in every Kalpa or every day of Brahma. So Yuge can mean every day Brahma or every Yuga in a cycle, in a Yuga cycle. Sattva, Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali. Satya, Dwapara, Treta, and Kali, like that. So Yuge can mean in every day of Brahma or in every Kalpa or in every Yuga of every Yuga, like that. So for these three purposes, to establish bhakti towards me, uh, to uh, to tell the devotees who are suffering due to separation from me, and to kill those demons who cannot be killed by any ordinary human being. Only the Supreme Lord himself has to descend to kill. So for these three purposes, I send every day. So he says, in this act, one should not worry that the Lord is being prejudiced in punishing the minded. So by killing them, the Lord delivers even those most asuras from samsara and from receiving hellish punishment due to their various sinful actions. The Lord's punishment in the form of killing should thus be seen as his mercy. So, of the 64 qualities that the Supreme Lord has, the 5 qualities which are there in Krishna also and in all the other forms also, one of the quality is called as Hatari Gatidayakatvam. Hata Ari Gati Dayakatvam. Hata means to kill. Ari means enemy. When the Lord kills an enemy, Gatayakatvam. Gatidayakam means he bestows them with a better destination. So he bestows them with a better destination than what they deserve actually. So, but even in that, if any other incarnation of the Lord, when they kill a demon, that demon does not get liberation. He may get a better destination, but he will only not get, he will get better than what he deserves, but he will not get liberated. That liberation, killing, is accomplished only by the form of Krishna. So that is why there is a long discussion on this topic in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, where very systematically Srila Rupa Goswami establishes that how only when Krishna kills a demon, they get liberation. Whereas any form of the Lord, they cannot bestow liberation upon demons. They can bestow liberation upon devotees. That is possible, but not upon demons, even if they can. So, in order to establish this point, there is this discussion between Maitreya Muni and Parashara Muni in Vishnu Puran, which is quoted by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So, in that, Maitreya Muni asks Parashara Muni that, my dear Lord, actually, Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narasimha, but he did not achieve liberation. Ravana was killed by Lord Rama. He did not achieve liberation. But Shishupal was killed by Krishna. Shishupal attained liberation. Why is that so? Why is that so? How is it possible? Is the same living entity, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why should it happen that Hiranyakashipu and Ravana did not get liberation, but Shishupal has liberation? And so the explanation that is given is that because the form of Krishna exhibits such powerful attraction that even inimical people, even due to enmity, they cannot stop thinking about Krishna. So the form, due to its attractiveness, creates such powerful absorption in the heart that the demons are so absorbed in their heart, but with enmity. Gopya Kamad Bayat Kamso Dvesha Chaidyadayo Nripa Sambad Vrishneha Sneha Dyuyam Bhaktya Vayam Vibho. Narada Muni tells in the 7th canto. So Kamsa with fear, and Kamsa with fear, and Shishupal with hatred. He was thinking about Krishna, and it created such a powerful absorption that when that at the time of death they were thinking about Krishna, and it leads to liberation. But the other forms of the Lord, being the Amsha of Krishna, are not capable of generating that level of absorption in demons. In devotees, out of love, they can actually develop lot of absorption in the Lord, enough to achieve liberation and prema. But in demons, they cannot. This is called as Vastu Vishesh. Vastu Vishesh means the speciality of that particular form. So Krishna, being the Amshi, Krishna manifests more qualities and more powers in the form of Krishna than what he manifests in the form of Narasimha, Rama, etc. So, so therefore, uh, so bestowing liberation upon demons is done only by Krishna. None, no other form. Any demon killed by Lord Rama, Lord Narasimha, Varaha, none of them attained liberation. But only the demons killed by Krishna, they are bestowed that unique quality of attaining liberation. Otherwise, all of them get a better destination, better what they deserve. Hatari Gati Dayakatvam, but not the Gati of Mukti, like that. So, so therefore, here he is telling that how can the Lord do paritranaya sadhunam and nashaya cha dushkritam? So is Lord not showing prejudice here that that he is killing the demons and protecting the devotees? So isn't that not prejudice? So what is explained here is um, uh, even in killing the demons, he is giving them liberation much better than what they deserve. How is that punishment? How is that punishment? It is not punishment like that. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share, ask, add on this point? Okay, if there is none, then we will continue our discussion. Okay, now the next verse. Famous verse, you all know this verse. Prabhupada often quotes this verse also. So here Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tatvatah tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. So Krishna says, Yaha evam tatvatah vetti. Evam means in this way. As I have described, that person tatvatah vetti understands in truth in this way as I have explained. May, my, divyam, transcendental, janma, birth, karma, activities. One who in this way understands in truth the transcendental nature of my birth activities, saha, that person, mam eti, he attains me. Deham tyaktva, on giving his body, he attains me. Punar janma na eti, and does not take birth again. He who understands in truth this transcendental nature of my birth and activities. So birth was described in 4.6, 4.5 and 6, right? Birth was described that bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetta parantapa. Many births you and I have taken. I remember all these things, but you do not. And ajopisan avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropisan prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atmamayaya. So these two verses describe the Janma Rahasya and Paritranaya Sadhu Yada Yada hi Dharmasya Glanit Bhavati Bharata Abhyuttanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Srijamyam Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chadushkritam Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. So these two verses. So 4.5 and 6 describe the Janma Rahasya, and 4.7 and 8 describe the Karma Rahasya, the transcendental nature of his activities. So, Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tatvatah. One who in truth understands the transcendental nature of my birth and activities as I have described now, that person, Deham Tyaktva, on giving up this body, Punarjanma na eti. He does not take birth again. On giving up his birth, on giving up his body, he does not take birth again. So, Krishna says, Srila Vishwanath Thakur mentions here, you will be successful just by knowing in truth about my birth, which was previously described, and after my birth, my activities. So when you understand in truth the transcendental nature of my birth and activities, you will not take birth again. You will be successful. That is expressed in this verse. Ramanujacharya and Madhusudan Saraswati say that Divya means non-material, spiritual. That is how the word Divyam. So Divyam, according to that, means spiritual. Sridhar Swami says Divya means uncommon. But it is not, they are not, whatever happens to spirit is uncommon to matter, right? So the qualities of the spirit and matter are not common, they are uncommon. So therefore there is no contradiction here. Sridhar Swami says Divya means uncommon, and Ramanujacharya and Madan Saraswati, they say it means spiritual. As this means that it is not related to this material world, it also means spiritual. That's what here Vishwanath Thakur is also saying. Being spiritual beyond the gunas means that the Lord's birth and activities are eternal. Spiritual means eternal. Material means temporary. So Krishna's birth is eternal. Birth is spiritual means birth is eternal. So at different places in this material world, birth pastime is happening. And his activities are spiritual means activities are eternal, which means in different places in this material world, his particular pastimes are also. So Jiva Goswami also explains, quoting from Bhagavatam in the Bhagavat Sandarbha, that the Lord no material birth or activities. The Lord has no material birth or activities. So this is from Gajendra's prayers, right? Yeah. Is this Gajendra's prayers? I think, yeah, this is Gajendra's prayers. Yeah. Na vidyate yasya chakar janma karma na nama rupe guna dosha evava tatapi lokapyaya sambhavaya yah swamayaya tanyanukulam richati tasmai namah pareshaya brahmane nanta shaktaye arupayoru rupaya nama ascharya karmani. So he says, na vyate yasya cha janma karma va. So the Shastras say that the Lord has birth, no actions. Ajopi san, ajaha. Krishna also says that I am unborn, but still I take birth. So Smriti Shastras also says, na vidyate tasya yasya cha janma karma va. Vidyate means exists. There does not exist any birth and activities for the Supreme Lord. Na nama rupe. Lord has no name and no form. Guna dosha evava. And the Lord has no qualities and no faults. But still, he accepts birth and activities as Brahma and Shiva at the time of creation and destruction. Anukulam richati. But still he accepts birth and activities swamayaya, by his energies of Rajas and Tamas. By the energy of Rajas, he accepts the form of Brahma. By the energy of Tamas, he accepts the form of Shiva. For what purpose? Loka apyaya sambhavaya. For creating and destroying this universe, he accepts the form of Brahma and Shiva. He accepts birth and he accepts activities through the form of Brahma and Shiva. So Tasmai Nama Pareshaya. I offer respects to Paramatma, Brahmane, unto Brahman, Ananta Shakti, unto that Brahman with unlimited powers, Arupaya Urupaya, who is devoid of material forms, but who has many, many spiritual forms. Namaha Ascharya Karmani. And he has astonishing activities also. Right. So the birth of Krishna is astonishing, uncommon, spiritual. The activities of Krishna is astonishing, uncommon, and spiritual. Okay. Navidyate yasya cha janma karma va nanama rupe gunadosha eva va tatapi loka apyaya sambhavaya yaha swayaya tani anukulam richati. But still he accepts birth and activities as Brahma and Shiva for the purpose of creating and destroying this universe. I offer my respects to Paramatma, Brahman with unlimited powers, who is devoid of material form but has many spiritual forms and astonishing activities. Ascharya Karmani, like that. So this is the prayer word by Gajendra, which indicates the very uncommon spiritual nature of Krishna's birth and activity. So Divya. So Divya means uncommon. Divya means spiritual. Or okay, how many more slides are 3, 4? Yeah, 4 slides are there. I will take questions after I complete this entry. Okay, or discussion points after this commentary. Or the word Divya can mean not approachable by logic or inconceivable on the strength of words of Shruti and Smriti. Divya means inconceivable. Transcendental to our logic. So transcendental to our logic means transcendental to our perception. That which we can perceive through our senses will fit into our sense logic. That which we cannot perceive through our senses will not fit our sense of logic, not make any sense out of it. So he says, the Purusha Bodhini Shruti of the Pippaladi branch of the Vedas says, Eko Devo Nitya Leelanurakto Bhakta Vyapi Bhakta Hridayantaratma. He says, the one Lord who is inconceivable. So the word Deva, or from Deva comes Divya. So here the word Deva is used to indicate inconceivable. So Divyam, we saw, Divyam means spiritual. Divyam means uncommon. Okay. Then the third meaning of Divyam means that not approachable but inconceivable. Inconceivable. Of course, anything that is spiritual is not conceivable to material senses. Atat Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriya. Right. So he is quoting this verse from Purusha Bodhini Upanishad to indicate that how the word Deva or Divya is used to indicate inconceivable. The one Lord who is inconceivable, Nitya Leela Anuraktaha, engaged in eternal pastimes, Bhakta Vyapi, he is spread in the devotees, Bhakta Hridaya Antaratma, and resides in the devotee's heart. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavrit Saroja Ase Shrutekshita Pato Nananata Pumsam, as Brahmaji says in the 3rd canto. The Lord is present in every devotee's heart, even though the Lord is one. How can the one Lord be spread in all the devotees' heart because he is inconceivable. Deva. Janma karma chame divyam. So divyam means spiritual, divyam means uncommon, divyam means inconceivable. The eternal nature of the Lord's birth and activities is mentioned frequently in Bhagavatam as well. Okay. So the eternal nature of his birth and activities. Then, yo veti tattha means he who knows that my birth and activities are truly eternal. So it means yaha tatvatah veti means uh, 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 that one who knows that my birth and activities are truly eternal. Based on my statements that I am unborn and with indestructible body, ajopisan avyayatma. If my body is not destroyable, then my birth is eternal. So those accept that my birth and activities are truly eternal based on the statements that I have given, and that my birth and activities are non-material. Okay, janma karma chame divyam, and not just an appearance of being eternal, dependent on some sort of trick. Just like a magician creates money. So this point is described in Laghu Bhagavatamrita. So you say that a magician creates money. He shows his hand, there is nothing there in the hand. Then he rotates his hand, one 500 rupee note comes, then another 500 rupee note comes, then another 500 rupee note comes. Out of thin air, he keeps managing one note after another and another, right? One 500 rupee note per second. So if it was real, then why should he earn money by performing magic? He can keep sitting at home and keep on rotating his hand, and with every second 500 rupee note he will get. So in 1 hour he can generate 30,000 rupees like that. Sorry, in 1 minute 30,000. So in one day, lakhs and lakhs of rupees he can earn just by rotating his hand. But everyone knows it's just a magic, it's not real, right? That is why he has to perform that magic, and everyone pays 50 rupees ticket to see that magic, and he has to that way. Why does he need 50 rupees ticket? But if in 1 second he can rotate his hand and manifest 500 rupee notes, right? Everyone knows it's just a magic trick. So similarly, Krishna may also be a magician, very powerful magician, that he is able to make a show of his own birth and activities being eternal, but in reality, it may just be a magic, right? But if it was just magic trick, then the scriptures will not describe and celebrate the wonderful qualities of Krishna. If Krishna is manifesting those qualities are only a trick, a magic trick performed by him, all his display of unusual, extraordinary qualities are just a magic trick, then the scriptures will glorify the Lord only as a supreme magician and not as the possessor of those qualities. Like, for example, you never see the newspapers glorying the magician as the richest person, because every second he can generate 500 rupees notes. So the scriptures do not glorify him as the richest person. The scriptures are the newspapers. The newspaper may glorify him as an expert magician. So if Krishna showing all these wonderful qualities, uncommon qualities, unusual qualities, extraordinary qualities, were a magic trick, an illusion, uh, then the scriptures will not glorify his wonderful qualities. The scriptures will only glorify him as a wonderful trickster or a magician. But the scriptures glorify him as Bhagavan, the possessor of those 6 qualities. The 64 qualities of Krishna are mentioned. Hatari, Gatidayakatvam, we had discussed. He kills a demon, the demon has liberation. If it was not true, if it was just a trick, then the scriptures would just glorify Krishna as the supreme trickster. That's all. But the scriptures very much attribute those qualities to Krishna. Why would they do it if it was just a show? Which means it is not a show, it is real. So, evam yo veti tattvataha means one who clearly understands that Krishna manifesting these qualities, Krishna showing this unusual birth, unusual activities is not just an illusory issue, but it is actually real. I may not be able to understand how Krishna is able to do it, but I know it's real. I have no reason to think that it is an illusion. I agree that it is real, but I don't know how he does it. So, which means basically acceptance of accepting that Krishna possesses inconceivable qualities. That is what it means. Evam yogi tattvataha means to understand and accept that Krishna does possess qualities which are inconceivable to me, rather than thinking that what is inconceivable is just only trick. Otherwise, Krishna is just like one of us. Krishna is just like one of us, just that he has incredible magical skills. He's an incredible trickster. But otherwise he is just like you. If one thinks like that, that is not evam yo veti tattvataha. That is not in reality knowing and accepting Krishna's birth and activities to be eternal and extraordinary. So yo veti tattvataha can also mean one who knows me as the very form of Brahman. So tat means Brahman. Om tat saditi nirdesho, like that Bhagavad Gita says. Om tat saditi nirdesho. What is that? I think 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita it mentions. So tat or in tattvam as. Sorry. Here he quotes this. Om tat saditi nirdesho brahmanas trividas spritaha. 17.18 it is mentioned. So tat refers to Brahman, yaha veti tattvataha, which means janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha, means yo veti tattvataha means one who knows me as the very form of Brahman. Tattvataha, tat refers to Brahman. So this is because later Krishna will say Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmanas Trividas Smritaha. The 3 words Om Tat all indicate Brahman. Therefore, Tattva means the state of being Brahman. The state of being Brahman. So Yoveti Tattvataha means one knows me as the form of Brahman, Parabrahman. That is the meaning of Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. Because I am showing qualities, I am Parabrahman. That is the meaning of Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha. So we saw how many meanings of Tattvataha. So the meaning Evam Yo Veti Tattvataha means he who knows that my birth and activities are truly eternal based on my statements that I am unborn and with susceptible body. Okay, and it is not just an appearance of eternal appearance of being eternal, dependent on some sort of trick. This is first. Then second meaning of evam yo veti tattvataha is to understand, know me as a very form of Brahman. Okay. So Ramanujacharya says, destroy all sins which are unfavorable for surrender to me by true knowledge of my spiritual birth and activities, taking shelter of me in life in the prescribed way. That person who holds me alone as dear, constantly thinking of me, attains me. Okay. So destroying all sins which are unfavorable for surrender to me. So this is the meaning of Tyaka Deham. By true knowledge of my spiritual birth and activities. This is the meaning of evam yo jan karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah. Am eti means taking shelter of me in this life in the prescribed way. That person who holds me alone as dear, constantly thinking of me, he attains me. So, evam yo veti tatvatah, one who knows in truth about the transcendental nature of Krishna's birth and activities, he will certainly shelter of Krishna. He will hold Krishna alone as dear, and he will constantly be able to think of Krishna. And such a person will attain Krishna. Right. So that is what is being described here. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvata. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Like that. So that is verse number 4.9. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share as add? You can please go ahead. Okay, two hands. First, Sachipranto.
Supposing that the word so Maya in the next verse to this verse. So that time where he's saying, the Lord is saying that I take birth using Rajas and Tamas. So that so Maya is internal potency or is external potency?
Oh, here you are telling previous verse.
Yeah.
Oh, which one? Which one? Which one?
Then the-
Oh, wait. Which verse? He said, I remember reading it. Janma
ah,
karma cha me evam yo veti tatvatah. In which verse he talks about this? I appear as
yeah.
this one,
Yeah.
this one, this one, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering where. Oh, it is in the verse quoted here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He accepts birth and activities as Brahma and Shiva
Mm,
because they his gunavataras, right?
mm.
So by the energies of Rajas and Tamas, not directly through Prakriti, he does not directly come in touch with Rajas and Tamas.
Mm.
So they are not his Swamsha forms. The form of Brahma and Shiva are not the Swamsha forms. And anyway, Lord Shiva's form is not directly. Sometimes when this says in Tamas, there some living entity takes the role of Shiva. So when the living entity takes the role of Shiva, so at that time it is he is controlled by Tamas, or he comes in touch with Tamas at least, like that. Yeah.
So, Project, so Maya has used here by the energies of Rajas and Tamas. So, in the
Mhm.
previous word, when we understand that so Maya is a Sarupa Prakriti, that is its own internal energy. So here,
Yeah, in that context, it means so words have multiple meanings.
okay.
So the meanings of the words change according to context. So Like for example, you see in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, so he says, Bandhutmatmanastasya yenatmai vatmana jitah anatmanastu shatrutve vartetatmaiva shatruvat. So many times the word Atma comes. Sometimes the word Atma refers to body, sometimes it refers to mind, sometimes it refers to intelligence, sometimes it refers to soul. So depending on the context, you understand the meaning changes. So therefore, Swamaya under one context refers to actually the internal potency of Krishna, and at other times the word Swamaya refers to the external potency, depending on the context.
Okay.
Okay. Shamli Mataji. Yes, Pro Shamla. Yes.
Hear me?
Yes, Pro, I can hear you.
So, this shloka which says, just by knowing the divine birth and pastimes of the Lord. So, my simple question is, within 6 months to 2 years of being in ISKCON, we all know of this.
6
that-
months? It doesn't take 6 months, Prabhu. Within a few days, you get to know this.
Yeah. So, within a few days, you would know. So,
Yes.
I mean, but it is not that within a few days that transformation of heart occurs, that you are fit to be going back home, back to Godhead.
Correct.
So, I mean, how do we understand that? Or is it some part of realization or something that this knowing the divine pastime?
Okay. So your question is very valid and very apt, and Krishna is going to answer it in the next. So if you can just wait till the next verse, Krishna answers the same question that you're asking in the next section.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Okay, fine, bro.
Yeah.
So we'll wait for the next lecture.
No, we still have 15 minutes. So if there are no further questions, go on to the next verse. Actually, we'll cover the next verse also.
Okay. Thank you.
Another question, anything anyone would like to share as add? Okay. If there is no further questions, we will move on. So as very rightly, appropriately, Shyamlal Prabhu asked, oh, if I just accept that Krishna's Janma and Karma is spiritual, transcendental, it is not material. So if I give up this body, I will take birth again and I will attain him. Mameti, I will attain Krishna. That's all. चलो मान लिया कृष्ण का जन्म दिव्य है, कृष्ण का कर्म दिव्य है, तो मतलब मेरा मुक्ति गारंटीड है ना. तो कृष्णा से हाँ गारंटीड है, खाली एक रियलिटी चेक करते हैं. लेट अस डू वन स्मॉल रियलिटी चेक, बिकॉज जो whoever has accepted my janma and karma to be divya, there is following qualities, so to accept Krishna's birth and activities to be divya in tatvatah. What is the meaning of tatvatah? Accepting Krishna's birth and activities to be real. Krishna says in the next verse, he says, वीतराग भय क्रोधा मन्मया माम उपाश्रिता बहवो ज्ञान तपसा पूता मद्भावमागता. So what are the symptoms of a person who has really in truth accepted the janma and karma of Krishna to be transcendental? So Krishna says, First thing, Vita Raga. That person has given up attachment to the material world because he has understood the nature of Krishna, right? If you understand the nature of Krishna's birth and death, birth and activities, then in reality, if one has accepted it and understood it, he will not have attachment to the material world. Vita Krodha, Vita Bhaya, he will not have any fear. And Vita Krodha, he will not have any anger towards the demons. Okay. And then Manmaya, he cannot think of anything else other than Krishna. Absorbed in me with hearing and chanting. Okay. Mam Upasha, he, having taken shelter of me, he would take shelter of Krishna. Okay. So that is the meaning. So what are the symptoms? Vita Raga, Vita Bhaya, Vita Krodha, Manmaya, Mam Upashrita. 5 qualities are seen in person. And Bahavo, there are many persons like that. Jnana Tapasa Puta. Puta means there are many persons like that who have been purified by Jnana Tapasa. Jnana Tapasa means austerity of knowledge. What is austerity of knowledge? Austerity of knowledge means many people say, oh, Krishna is an extraordinary human being. Some people say, oh, Krishna, he is just a very mythological personality. Or Krishna, oh, the absolute truth is just impersonal. Like that, there are so many different siddhantas, apasiddhantas. So tatvatah vetti. So tatvatah vetti means it takes lot of austerity to constantly and carefully reject all kinds of apasiddhanta and accept only siddhanta. Like in today's day and age, there are so many apasiddhantas. So many apasiddhantas, so many unwanted philosophy which goes, some people say nationalism is also spirituality as long as your nationality is Bharat. So some people say that if you are a Bharatiya, your Bharatiya consciousness is as good as Krishna consciousness. Some people say like that. And there are so many such different ideologies, theologies, this thing, that thing, everything. So therefore, by carefully avoiding that which is not Siddhanta and accepting only Siddhanta, only the teachings of the Acharyas, and carefully and trying to understand Krishna is actually Jnana Tapasa. It involves a lot of austerity. So therefore, purified by the austerity of tolerating the opposition. So purified by the austerity of the true knowledge of my birth and activities, Mad Bhavam Agataha. They have attained love for me. So if someone does not have love for Krishna, if he is not absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna, if he has not given up attachment, fear, and anger towards the demoniac tendencies, demoniac ideologies, and if he has not taken shelter of Krishna, then that is not Janma Machame Divyam Evam Yo Veti Tattvata. Because to Tattvata, like for example, if you really understand, poor person understands Tattvata, that a poor person, he wants money, and you go and tell him, आपको पता है ना, ये जो व्यक्ति है करोड़पति है, he has millions of dollars and he has dedicated life to donate, to give in charity to needy people. Whoever goes and asks him for money are guaranteed to get money. If you go and ask him for a small house to live, he will build a house for you. क्या समझा कि नहीं? हाँ समझा समझा. फिर नेक्स्ट डे देखा तो सेम रोड में बैठ के भीख मांग रहा है. ही इज स्टिल सिटिंग ऑन द साइड ऑफ द रोड एंड बेगिंग. अरे मैं कल बताया ना आपको. हाँ बताया. समझा ना आप? समझा. तो भीख क्यों मांग रहा है? तो मतलब आपने जो बोला मैं सुन लिया. मतलब समझा क्या? समझा. मतलब अगर सच में आप समझे तो भीख मांगना मतलब वही आर आस्किंग 1 rupee 2 rupee फ्रॉम सो मेनी पीपल. डायरेक्टली उनके पास जाके भीख मांगो. ही विल बिल्ड अ हाउस फॉर यू. ही मे गिव यू अ जॉब. So this is not evam yo veti tattvataha. So if one really understands the transcendental nature of Krishna's birth and activities, in truth, it means they will be free of attachment, they will be free of fear, they will be free of anger, they will be absorbed in hearing and chanting about Krishna. They would have taken shelter of Krishna and they would have attained love for Krishna. That is the symptom of evam yo veti tattvataha. So, we will complete this purport. We still have about 7 minutes time. So, here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti says, not at the present time can one attain me just by knowing about the nature of my present birth and activities, but in ancient times also, in previous cultures when I appeared, people attained me by knowing the nature of my birth and activities. That's why he says, Bahavo, many puns. Mad bhavam agataha. Many persons having taken shelter of me attained love for me, like that. So this is the purport of this verse. So I am not telling a new principle for you. This has eternally been the principle. Many people have accepted in truth the transcendental nature of my birth and activities. They have attained me in the past. Regarding the meaning of jnana tapasa, what is this austerity of knowledge? Ramanujacharya says, they became purified by the austerity of realization about the nature of my birth and activities, as previously stated. So, the process of realizing Krishna's birth and activities to be transcendental, the process itself involves certain austerities, So, by that they became purified. Or, this is one meaning, or the meaning can be they, having attained realization of the eternal nature of my birth and activities, became purified by the austerity in the form of tolerating the burning poison of wrong ideas, wrong logic, and wrong arguments. So many people give different ideologies. वो सबको सहन करके शुद्ध भक्ति सिद्धांत को पकड़ के रखा, वो austerity है. Because all around you, people will keep speaking different things. So you have to tolerate all that and stick to what the acharyas have given. That is austerity. People will criticize you. People will tell you a lot of things. So, Ramanujacharya quotes the following Shruti in this regard. Tasya dhiraha parijananti yonim. Wise men know about the Lord's method of birth, says Taittiriya Upanishad. So such wise persons have given up attachment or affection for persons who speak nonsense ideas. So they don't have attachment for all these apasiddhantic ideologies. What do you call them? Not ideologies. Those who propound those ideologies are called as what? Whatever. So, and my devotees have no fear of them, anger towards them. Why? They are not attached to them. At the same time, they don't fear them and they don't have anger towards them. Why? Because they are preoccupied with meditating on and thinking on, of and hearing and singing about my birth and activities. Manmaya. That is the meaning of Manmaya. They have no fear of them or anger towards them because they are preoccupied in bhakti karma, in the activities of devotional service. They are preoccupied in meditating on Krishna, thinking of, hearing and singing about Krishna's birth and activities. So they attained prema for me, mad bhavam, like that. Any quick discussion points, comments, questions, anything anyone would like to share as add on this point? Shamlal Prabhu, is your question answered?
Yes, Prabhuji. Question answered.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. I didn't understand the link.
Yeah.
Now I know the link.
Yes. Okay. Anything else anyone would like to share as add? Okay. If there is no other discussion points or questions or comments, we will pause there, continue this discussion next Friday. So thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Meet again next Friday. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.